see. Always happy to see everybody showing up a little bit early. Hi and welcome to Rebel News. I am your host, Professor Tuck. And tonight we are going to be talking about several different topics. Um, and Trump's handing out tariff breaks to big tech and auto giants, and your homestead costs are going to be skyrocketing. So tonight, what we're going to do is expose what's going on and how this is going to threaten the dollar, and how to kind of just prepare for what's coming on. What's up, Occult? Nice to see you, buddy. So let's do a quick headline breakdown before we get into everything. Oh, what's up? Nice to see you, Chris. Oh, smoking's out here too. Holy cow. We got a bunch of people showing up. Congratulations. Hi and welcome. And so I hope you guys like this. We are going to try we're going to try this in a different way. So I'm glad to see all y'all. Thank you for being here. Hey, what's up, Tommy? So energy prices are up 7.1% this year. Heating oil is at $4.12 a gallon. And they're blaming it on Ukraine and what's going on over there. But I think really what's causing the issues over in Ukraine is the inability to be able to grow crops, because it's become a war zone. There's, instead of being able to have crops out there, what they have is craters from all the missiles and stuff like that. And so just from my personal experience, when I went down to get propane last month, uh, I asked them, so what's the price? And they told me it was like $3 and some change, like $3.75 or something like that. And they were telling me the story about how the previous month they'd sold everything at the original price that they thought that they were supposed to sell it at. Turns out when they got an invoice to come in there and replace it, they ended up losing a bunch of money because they weren't paying attention to the price hikes. And so every time, if you're an off-gridder, if you're a homesteader and you use propane and stuff like that, be sure to check the price because it fluctuates. Now with this whole Trump tariff thing, though, it is starting to kind of like cause prices to go down, but there's a little bit of a it's weird, okay, because the demand is dropped by like 20%, which means that the price has dropped, but then the cost of being able to extract it, because of the high tariffs, to be able to buy the necessary equipment or parts to be able to maintain it with the high tariffs, it's causing prices to go up. So it's kind of like the demand has gone down, but the price to do it has gone up. And so these organizations, actually the American companies here, they're not really getting too much help from these tariffs. It's actually kind of undermining a lot of the possible market shift that they could have. Another headline: gold hit $3,246 an ounce, up from $3,222 last week. This is part of the trade war. If you watched a video I put out last week where I was talking about the trade war, one of the things about the trade war that we really should be thinking about is this could take the dollar off of being the world reserve currency. The one of the leading indicators to let us know how healthy the dollar is the price of gold. I think this is the first time that gold has reached 3,000, over 3,000, and if it hits 5,000, the dollar's toast. But they're saying that by the end of this year, they expect it to be 3,900. So you better stock up. Not necessarily because it's going to grow in value, but the dollar is about to really be, it might be decoupled because of what's going on with this trade war. There are like the former head of the central bank for India. He was saying that what Trump has done with these tariffs is just undermine the credibility and the stability. And so with the chaos, because it's, yes, we got this today, no, we don't have that tomorrow, and constantly changing, nobody can really hold on. And in business, especially in international trade, you need consistency, because it leaves support, it's fine. By the time it gets to where it's going, like a week or so later, all of a sudden it's three times the price, and because of the chaos and the instability. And so we're getting to see it being reflected in the price of gold. Russian missiles killed 35 in Ukraine's Sumy region on Sunday. This is just, again, it's just an update. The hostilities haven't stopped. If and I thought that Trump would have had this done by now, because this is going to play on the food market as far as, being able to get grains, because that's what Ukraine's known for. It has some of the most fertile soil. It's the breadbasket of the world, and so therefore continuing this war without peace, especially this late into the year, planting season's already kind of coming and going, and so for them, it's causing a lot of issues, and it's going to affect us on the global market. So be sure to stock up on food, and so the last headline before we get into the main topic is that Trump's exemptions let smartphones and cars dodge tariffs. So you and me, we for everything else that you and I we buy, those are being tariffed, and especially if it comes from China. But and the thing is that it's not until like next month that we will start to see the actual effects of the tariffs, because we're still waiting for all of the stuff that was before a certain deadline to have reached America, so that we can start tariffing it on the new tariffs, because I think it's based upon the date in which it leaves port. Okay, so this is these exemptions are benefiting places like our automakers and Apple. So this is telling Apple, well, you don't have to go overseas, or excuse me, you don't have to bring your stuff back here. We'll just give you an exemption, because they're going and crying and saying, uncle, 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 because what is it, like 40 to 60% of all of their production and everything that comes into their revenue is manufactured there in China. And so now they're trying to move operations to Vietnam, but the thing is it's not really solving anything. And it's kind of funny, because they're still saying that even with the tariffs, even though they're still going to put the 20% tariff on it, they're saying that this is yeah, I don't know. I lost it for a second. All right, but here's the thing: you and I, we're going to pay for it, but these corporations, they don't have to actually do anything. My big question, my big frustration with all this, and I'm wondering how you guys feel about this as well. If we're supposed to be putting the screws to China to force manufacturing back to the United States, why are we now pussyfooting around as soon as they cry uncle? Let them reshape, let them do certain things. It's not even necessarily about concessions. What it is it's playing favoritism. And when you do something like that, as long as you're lining somebody's pocket, then you get an exemption. As long as you've got this or that, then you're getting an exemption. And this really isn't helping you and me, but it's helping the fat cats get richer. And it's not doing anything that is productive. So what we're going to be talking about tonight, what our deep dive story is going to be, as Trump's trade war exemptions, which is why I was kind of started talking about auto imports and fueling fears about the US dollar's reign as the world's reserve currency. So right now, exemptions today spare smartphones, computers, auto parts from China, Canada, Mexico, which is avoiding 25 to 54% tariffs, according to Reuters. Tariffs started April 2nd. It hit with 60 countries, 10 to 49%. Big firms got breaks. Small homesteads, like you and me, we got to pay the bill for it. The dollar is down 6% since January. It's actually dropped about 2% in its total reserve. We were, like a month or two ago, we were 60%. Now all of a sudden we're 58% of global trades. This is a sign that we're getting de-dollarized. And there's over 150 countries in the world. I think there's like 163. And so if you've got all these countries that are willing to do business with you, I think that China, because a lot of the world wants to be able to compete and not be under the thumb of America, that they are gaining friends in low places, mostly the global South, like Africa and all this other stuff. So this is something that we as a country we've kind of got to be aware of. We're being told, oh yeah, we've got 75 countries. Okay, so that means about roughly less than 50%, let's say about 40% of the whole world decided to come to us. That's Europe, that's some Southeast Asian countries, and then that's the other countries that are here in the United States and Latin America. Um, Latin America is also kind of, enveloped with the with South America. And right now they're trying to push Trump to go after. There's a southern port on the Pacific side of the southern tip of South America that the Chinese want to make their main hub over on this side of the globe, to for their Belt and Road initiative. And right now, what they're saying is that Trump may be trying to make a play to come in there and take that port from them. We're Trump and China. You got to realize that what's going on in the background, what's going on behind the scenes. We're not really getting to see a lot of that. We'll hear about it here and there, like what Trump's trying to do down there, or what's happening here, what's happening there. Okay, so um, the main thing, and this is what the Indian guy said. He said that flip-flopping tariffs erode trust in the dollar, and that's a lot of the reason why the rest of the world, including India, is stopping to use the dollar. The digital yuan has come on to play, and with the digital yuan now, they're doing cross-border transfers like in seconds instead of days and weeks. It's starting to gain traction, especially with those countries that want to get out from under the dollar. Now that they see that China is, because the rest of the world isn't going to band together with China, but if China can stand up and withhold for, let's say, 90 days and really push back on Trump as hard as he's pushing on them and not give in. I think what will end up happening is the rest of the world that wants to go against America will see that China actually has the staying power, and then we'll probably start to see all the riffraff come out from under the rocks and see what's really going to end up happening here. Okay, so uh okay, so let's get your let's go through and read your comments. I would love to know what you guys think about this. And let me say hi to everybody, because I've been making sure to pay attention. I've got to figure out a way to make my segments a little bit longer. This is a first try, so please be aware. So I'm pretty used to this time slot. Me too, Beth. I like it. Okay. So howdy, y'all. What's up, Smoking? What's up, Occult? Okay, Smoking. Okay. Okay. Tommy. Okay, what's up, Tommy? Beth. Okay. Smoking, Chris. Wow, everybody's here. Love to see you guys in chat. You guys are doing amazing. Okay. Also, if I'm not mistaken, we, the U.S., get a lot of plutonium rods, nuclear rods from them for power plants. I'm not 100% sure on that, Smoking. I would have to definitely look into it. I don't have a way to be able to look it up right now to verify. But I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, because the whole reason why the rest of the world wants to go after Russia has to do with the fact that um, Russia has all the resources. It's one of the largest land masses. It spans two continents, Asia and Europe. Uh, and with it's the world's gas station. They have the world's first largest natural gas reserve. They have large deposits of metal. They have plenty of open land. They have plenty of resources. They have vastness of climate. So that's a threat to the global order, because you have one country that has all of these resources that therefore can be a threat. The United States, during the Industrial Revolution, the United States was like that. And that's why we had the Spanish American War, and we had some other wars that we got into just so that the rest of the world would respect us. So, but I'm not exactly sure about that. It's called stagflation. We demand when demand goes down, but cost goes up, right? Um, I could see that being called stagflation. I don't know the exact definition. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, folks. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. All right. Hi, Matthew. Okay. Good day, Beth. Okay. From what I understand, China exports are trying to pivot to other countries, but it will be almost impossible to replace all the U.S. buyers. Well, Tommy, they're doing that. And what they're really doing that you should be concerned about is not the fact that they're trying to sell to the rest of the world. The rest of the world will not be able to consume at our level. Does not offer ease of business like we do. That is what we us being the reserve currency means nothing compared to how we consume and the business climate here in America. And so the one thing that you should be more thoughtful of, or that even Trump should be more thoughtful of, is you have to get origination. So what's happening is Chinese ships will go into Vietnam. They'll park there long enough to get their papers stamped as being shipped from Vietnam, and then they will send it here to the States so that they can avoid these tariffs. And this is being a big business is the way to be able to circumvent Chinese tariffs. And so this is what a part of the reason why Trump is putting the squeeze on Vietnam, and Vietnam's coming to talk to us, and they're the big deal because that them and other countries that have low tariffs, that have low trade barriers with the United States, are being allowed um, into to be able to bring all this stuff over here for cheap. And so China's just trying to circumvent it. So, okay. Tidbits here and there. Yep, that's what it will hear. Okay. Tommy calls us Tuckamaniacs. Oh, nice. You guys are my rebels. Join my digital rebellion. Okay. So, now that we've kind of gotten through the news segment, I want it to be longer. I want to start working on the structure, each segment being about 15 minutes. What do you rebels think? Do you think do you like the quick pace that we had today, or would you rather have something that is going to be a lot more meaty and in depth? Okay, because I covered like four maybe five news topics in a matter of about 15 minutes or so. So type 1 if you like the quick format. Type 2 if you think I should make the segments about 10 to 15 minutes apiece. I'd love to know what your guys' opinion is on this. Mm. Okay, so we want longer segments. Okay, good to know. Yeah, I figured you guys would. Now, do you guys like this format? Do you like how I do this? And things like that. Do you like this? Was this did you get any value from this or anything else like this? If you like this, type 1. If you think that I should probably restructure my types of topics or something like that. If um I want your guys' feedback because you guys, okay, yes, that was a great one. Okay. Brain processing time for I like to both mix it up. Okay. All right, Matthew. That sounds good. So because you guys are my core audience, you guys are my founding members of this new pivot, because you guys show up and have been showing up every night. Now what we need to do is we need to do one of two things. We either need to grow the concurrent viewers. So that means talk to your friends about it, invite them here to watch. Say, hey, you should check this guy out. He's actually kind of weird but interesting. Something along those lines. Hey, what's up, Carlos? Nice to see you, buddy. But I either have to grow that way, or I have to grow through Patreon. Okay, because here's the thing. You guys were the ones that asked for this. It seems like there's been a very positive interaction, though you guys have been following through on your commitment to show up every night. And so I want to make sure that I make this workable for everybody. But what I really need is I need you guys to help me invest in this to grow it a little bit better. What do I mean by that? I need over the next 6 weeks, I would like to acquire 10 sponsors, 10 members over on Patreon, paid members, $5, $10, $20 memberships. What does that do? That gives me a base foundation so that now I can expand certain things that I need, such as if I want to get Starlink, then that means I got a stable connection. And then that means that I can start doing third-party software that will allow me to do like what I was doing with Streamlabs before I had signal issues. So I want to be able to go to something like that. If this is something that you would like to be able to help participate in, I encourage you not only get parts of your tickets, or excuse me, you get double entry on raffle tickets, but you also are sponsoring and contributing to this to help me grow this into something that will be much bigger, much more self-sufficient. Those of you that have been here with me for a long time, you were part of my support structure that helped me survive while I was homeless and get to a point where I could get off the streets. Now I'm to a point where I'm off the streets. Now I need your guys' help to push me to the next level so that I as a so that I don't have to lean and depend upon the gods of YouTube to rain down on me, because it all starts with an off-platform membership. If you heard what I was talking about this morning, YouTube and Google and something like it's all changing, and YouTube will not be what it is today in 3 to 5 years. That's a big thing. Okay. But I'm asking you guys that if you guys want to be a part of the contribution and be part of my success, I would greatly appreciate it and invite you over to Patreon to become a member in either the Digital Homesteader, Sovereign Operator, Digital Watcher, or Rebel Watcher. Either one works. Okay. So let me see. I saw some comments here. Okay. What was the question? Okay, I'm late, but I'm here. Okay. Yeah, I like getting, I like it, but I'm getting old, man. I do not take time to process things. Okay. Okay. Let's mix it up. Okay. Carlos, what was the question? Captain Apana, I was asking how people felt about the live stream. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Where were we at on it? You see what I'm saying? Okay. Friends, what's that? Yeah. You so smart. Um, uh, okay. What you're doing is understandable. Well, I mean, here's the thing. The brick and mortar the brick and mortar jobs are gone. They're not going to be around for much longer. Going to get a job like that, if I got 20 years left in the workforce. Okay, I'm 44 years old. If I want to retire at 65, I got 21 years left in the marketplace. If grunt labor jobs aren't going to be there in 2 to 3 years, why do I want to put my effort into that? The way that the whole world is moving into the digital economy. The way that a content creator will become successful is by creating a community that supports him or her, and wants to contribute to their success. Because the thing is as a content creator, you're going to be more focused on crowdfunding, but you're not crowdfunding through donations. You're crowdfunding through memberships, and through those memberships, people not only get the perks, but then, like, for example, once I get up to a point where I've reached about $1,000 a month in revenue, then I can start, putting $500 a month towards projects. And then during the day, I can show you that I'm doing those projects. So you guys are funding the projects in an indirect way to be able to get future benefit. And the content creators that do that versus just putting it in their pocket and keep doing the same thing over and over again, that's the difference between the ones that will succeed and the ones that won't. Okay, is it becomes, you become the community entertainer, and everybody's got to make sure we all, da da da. It's, yeah. So meaning discussing with us how much has to be done to secure what you'll need, roof and Starlink. Are those priority for now, then refill on water, etc.? It depends. If somebody says, hey, I want to cover your Starlink I want to cover your Starlink installation, we could do it right now. But if I mean, I've got water. Water is always first. Now, getting an extra tub, IBC tote, the roof comes first. Then Starlink would come, unless people say, no, I'm doing this for Starlink. Okay. But rainy season is coming up. And the last thing I want to have happen is to have my whole roof cave in from water. I already, with the snow and stuff, I already had to deal with it. And I don't want it to damage the trailer and create mold and all that other stuff. But I think overall, like if I have to do it, the priority, I would love to have Starlink first. But if it just depends upon how things go. A lot of it has to do with you guys. When you guys do something, say, hey, I want to contribute to this. Then I put it over here and I'm like, okay, I'll put this off to the side and I'll hold on to it. Just like I did with the, what I did with the, whatchamacallit, just like I did with the GoFundMe. I put it towards the GoFundMe was to get me a vehicle, and because of the ways in which I made my investment, I was able to get a piece of land and a trailer, which accomplished that goal. Now, I set a goal, but how it gets accomplished is always an interesting story. I mean, it is what it is. But when you guys, if people tell me this is what I'm giving it to you for, like I had people say, hey, go buy a nug on me. Okay, great. I'm going to go buy a nug on you. Thank you. If I can't, I'll just sit there and hold on to it until I get to a point where I can buy a nug. You see what I'm saying? So you guys have the ability to, in some ways, direct how I'm doing it. In some ways, I'm not going to give you guys complete control, because no, you're not my mom. If you're not seeing value, why would you invest? So you're investing because you see value and you want to become a bigger participant in the overall way that this thing turns out. So let's say you come over and you become a sovereign operator. In the back of your mind, once I get Starlink, you know that you are part of the solution, or part of what was able to help me accomplish that. Once fiber optic gets pulled my place, you can have that if you want. I have a Starlink. Once the fiber optic gets pulled to my place, you can have. Well, Tommy, how long is that? Yeah, but I mean, because it depends. I'll take it, but if it's like 6 months or a year from now, that might be a little long. But if it's like, next month or two, that sounds more doable. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so your channel truth. Okay. First things first. Okay. IBC tote is your water containment system. Yes, it is, Beth. So, okay, then refill on water. No, right now I only have to refill my tote every 2 months. So it only, like, if I broke it down what I have to spend, I'm spending between 25 to 45 bucks a month for my water, depending upon whether I get a deal on the refill or not. But yeah, I just got it refilled. And it's not even halfway empty. So it takes about 60 days for me to go through it. Sometimes longer. Okay. They're installing in a few months. Hey, what's up, Rails? Nice to see you. You know what, Tommy? If something like that, if I still need it at that point in time, and I haven't been able to do it on my own, most definitely I'll send it my way. It'd be much appreciated, because I guess they're only like 150 bucks for them. At least that's what the advertise is now. So yes, they are. Yes, they are. But anyways, they're installing in a few months. Okay. Okay. Well, that's good to know. All right. 10-4. Hold on. I'm out of cigarettes, so I am puffing on this. It's on its last leg, but whatever. I got to do what I got to do. But yeah. It's not as satisfying on the nicotine, but it tastes better. It's actually much better. So, but I'm getting 2 for my rain catch. Ooh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I mean, I have to see what happens this year. Like, this is my first full year here. I want to see what the seasons are like, so that like next year I could be like, okay, now I know what's going on, and then I can go. Because I like to sit there and watch things, because people will tell you one thing, but then in reality, you find out something completely opposite. Okay. So, um, so do you guys have any with the topics and stuff like that? Okay. Um, okay. So I want to before we get to a point where we completely close all this stuff out, I do want to give you some actionable takeaways from today's thing, because I don't want to just sit there and say, here's the problems, figure it out on your own. I want to be able to offer solutions. So you're not just getting news, you're getting solutions to your problems. So as far as the economy goes with the dollar and the price of gold and stuff like that, you do want to barter. And, although you can do something like seeds, ammo, tools, stuff like that, those are good. But in my travels, over the last couple of years, the one thing that I found is most valuable is things like this. Okay. This, people always need cords. They always need power. They always need power blocks. They always need technology. And the thing is if you can get technology and you can get it cheap, you can go in there and you can make a lot of money trading for whatever it is you need. But something like, let's say this laptop. Now I spent $50 for it. I might get 10, maybe $15 for it in worth of barter and trade, unless I know a guy that really needs it and he's got, something that I need that I find really valuable. Okay. So before the prices climb, do start looking around or building up and thinking about bartering. What is it that you have that if you get in a pinch, you could barter it to make sure to either keep a roof over your head, food in your body, or water as well. So, uh, another thing that you might want to do is, I don't know exactly how to do this. I think maybe we need to start talking about creating meetup groups. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with meetup.com. Meetup.com is, when I was in business, that's they have like networking groups, free networking groups, because you don't want to, you need to go network while you're trying to make money. You don't really have a lot to put. Like BNI cost me $1,000 a year to be able to be in it. So they're not cheap. So when you find a free one, you go and you find them on Meetup. Well, they also have other events and other ways in which people can get together, such as, the Lego people that love their Legos, or if you're into this, if you're into that. So if you want to start thinking about going on to meetup.com and maybe, start advertising a preparedness group, or not even just focusing on preparedness, because people will be like, no, I'm not. They'll automatically associate it to doomsday prepping. What you might want to consider doing is a gardening group, or a DIY group, where we get together and we talk about our DIY projects and we share different ideas and different things that we learn from the different projects. That will attract preppers without saying preppers. So think about it like that, because you'll even bring in people that are DIY but not really preppers, that might be able to either teach you something or become a part of a bigger community. Okay, so heirloom seeds, something like that. So learn a skill. This is something that we all should know. Canning. Skills are your real currency. There are plenty of skills. The digital world will never go completely away. Those that have the money will work in the digital world. Those that don't will have to work in the lower echelons, the dirty jobs. Okay, and most people will want to be in the digital realm, but maybe not be able to. Okay, so if you're one of those that is not going to be in the digital realm, around like handyman, something like that, because that's mostly what people are going to be wanting you for anyway. So make sure that you have those skills. You start marketing and networking. If you are in a small town, there is a chamber of commerce. You can start talking with people. Just say, hey, look, yeah, I'm a handyman. If you need this, this is what I've got. Here's my business card. Do it under your name so you don't have to pay for incorporation. And then therefore you've already got the network. So when your job goes away, or when something else goes away, you've already got that secondary skill, and you've already started networking within the community. You've got your contacts, so therefore you will survive what is coming, whether you need it as extra income or to replace the income that you had. So this is something to consider as well. Okay, and okay, so let's see here. All right. So yeah, that was I just wanted to make sure that we got to some actionable tips, because if you don't have it's one thing to be informed, but some people are going, well, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I don't know. I've been lucky enough to be able to figure myself out of situations pretty quickly. Not everybody has that talent. I've been in situations like the first time I was on Florida Trail, and basically the trail broke. I'm in the middle of a swamp, and like there's no markings. I'm sitting there trying to figure out a place to go, thing to do, da 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 da, and it's just yeah, it became a I almost got stuck in St. Mark. For those of you that know Florida, I almost got stuck in St. Marks because of the trail break, but I figured it out. I started doing using law of probability to figure things out, and I ended up. It took me probably about 30 minutes, but um I figured my way out of the swamp. Okay, and so things like this, it's easy for me because I've been forced to do it as part of my survival. You may not have, but this is a good skill to think about, though. Okay, so as soon as you said dirty jobs, yep, Mike Rowe, there we go. Food, alcohol, and other drugs, water. Um, Alcohol, here's the thing, alcohol will win you friends, but you're not going to make any money. But it'll win you friends. You bring a bottle of booze, then, especially somebody that likes booze, it'll open a door, but I don't think you'll make a lot of money off of it because most people can just moonshine it in their backyard. Or they know a guy, especially in the in the Appalachians. Yeah. Everybody knows a guy that does moonshine. So, but it's a great way to make friends. That's how I made friends with well, not with moonshine, but with drinking. That's how I made friends with a couple of train riders who showed me how to ride trains. So I mean, um, yeah, it is what it is. Okay, so but anyways, I'm really glad you guys are taking to this, and I really appreciate you guys being here. Um, what topics do you think that I missed that I should probably think about covering? Or what are some up and coming topics that are pretty interesting to you? Like my old man, one of the things he wants me to talk about is the fact that they're using AI to read the hieroglyphs, the pyramids. And he's like, this is so cool. Tell everybody about it. It is so cool. AI is God. But but the thing is there are certain stuff that like I've been out of news for so long. I don't know 100% of everything that's going on. It's going to take me a minute to get up. But the way that I want to grow this, if I'm going to take this level, it's going to be a cross between pinball and Timcast you know, or not even, yeah, basically a homesteading channel where you take you outside, show you all the stuff, and a news channel. So, like, we do homesteading plus news. And if you notice that the topics that I was focused on today had to do with homesteading, how it was affecting you as a homesteader or as a prepper, versus, oh yeah, here's just the top headline topics. This is a top political topic. It was actually something that was a little bit more thought out. So, okay, feedback. Stagflation, for example, is the is a term that came out of the this evening's chat. Yes, stagflation. Okay. I need to start bringing a notebook with me. Hey, what's up, Matthew? Okay, yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. How to defend against AI robot dogs? You know what? That would have to be something over on Patreon, and that's part of the Rebel community. If you want, here's what's going to end up happening over the next 6 weeks. I'm going to be really, like I said, I need to grab 10 members over there. And what I want to do is okay, so YouTube will only allow me to share my opinion. If I start making definitive statements, and stuff like that, unless I've got the certification to go along with it, um, which you don't necessarily need a certification. It's a test. You can go to Test King and figure out how to pass a test and never. That's how most people got their MCSE because it was so hard. They just went and studied the answers, memorized the answers, got their MCSE, and then that's why they showed up to the job not knowing what the hell to do. So a test means nothing, in my opinion, at least within the IT field. So I mean, you got to be very careful on what it is that you say, and I want to be able to have my unfiltered side, which is going to be moved over there. Since it sounds like we have such a great that I think that I will feel comfortable enough. It seems like we're doing good. We've gotten up to almost 20 tonight. It is Monday night, and I am competing with Timcast. So I don't know. Do you guys like this time, or would you prefer an hour earlier? Type 1 if you want an hour earlier. Type 2 if you want it this time. Oh, wow. We got a big old jump. I'll share next time. Spinny wheel is starting. Ah, 1, please. Okay. All right. 1. Okay. So, 1 this time, 2 if you want earlier. Okay. So, hold on. God damn it. This is why I hate brain damage. Okay. Reception 1 or 2. Okay. Okay, so 1 if you guys, so you guys wanted an hour earlier is what I'm understanding. Is that correct? Because like you guys, I keep telling you guys, I have brain damage. I asked the question and then it completely went blank. I don't even know what I asked. I don't even remember what I said, what was leading up to it. It really sucks when that happens, but could somebody please help me out? What was number 1 again? Oh my God, this is pathetic. Going audio. Okay. Oh, you're back. Okay, 2 an hour earlier. Okay, so you guys want the same time. Okay, same time. Good. 5 o'clock. All right, guys. You want an hour earlier. Okay, what was 2 was an hour earlier. Okay, so 1 is 1 for an hour earlier. 2. Okay. So we wanted an hour earlier. We want me to do it at 4 o'clock my time. Okay. So we're gonna do it at 7 o'clock. Okay. All right. Good to know. All right. So I will start tomorrow. We will move it to an hour earlier so that those of you that want to be here at the 7 o'clock, that way you can be there for Timcast. Now, we're probably not going to go longer than an hour until we get up to probably about 500 people perpetual, or that's going to be kind of like my threshold because at that point in time, you guys will start to do that. But I'm easy to do with, okay, if possible, Tuck. Everyone voted for an hour earlier except for 2 or 3 people. Okay. Well, it sounds like an hour earlier is the way it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to close this out because it sounds like the signal's starting to go. Again, this is why I need Starlink. So anybody want to help? Come on over, get a membership, get double tickets in the raffle. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow morning. It's going to be 8. So 8, 9, 10, 11. So 9, 10, 11. So it'll be about 11 o'clock your time if you're on the East Coast. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. See you then.